You know what else is pretty sweet?
Pretty sweet.
Final Fantasy VII Remake Interlude Intermission.
Yeah,
That's not the official title of it, but I just wanted to make it longer and stupider.
But I mean, like, the fact that this DLC is technically called Intermission is, it's very square. It is aggressively square.
Yep.
I love it, Jeff. It's so good.
Yeah.
I love it so much. I got to play as Yuffie a year after Remake and never, ever would have thought that. And God, it's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah. I'm still just surprised from that announcement. Like, oh yeah, we did not expect to play as Yuffie before Red 13.
For years. Yeah.
And they do it within a year, and she plays fantastic. It's the way she plays makes you more excited for the future because, in a way, it does feel like a step up.
Yeah.
From the actual feel of her character compared to the ones in 7 Remake proper.
Yes,
on vanilla.
That was it. It would have been exciting enough if she just felt like, yeah, she was like a bonus remake character that wasn't, whatever. Like they had this one on the hopper or whatever, and it just slots right along. But like, no, it definitely feels like part of Intermission is testing things out for part 2. You definitely feel that.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. From the most obvious thing is like the team up attacks and everything. With her, but there's even other things like I think one of our biggest criticisms was like aerial combat sucks in the other one. This is like throw triangle, zip to it, bam. It's like God, it felt great.
There are a couple things that made me very curious, and I feel like we'll start here. Because as we said at the top, there are going to be spoilers for this. We're not going to hold back on that kind of stuff. But at the very least, right now, probably focus on mechanics for a little bit.
Yeah. I will definitely say. I mean, you should, if you're interested, if you've played Remake, whenever you get a PS5, you should definitely play this game. I mean, I wouldn't say like I don't think it's going to be required playing in the sense that like I think if you don't play this, I don't think you're going to be completely lost when you see Yuffie. I think this is more like character development for Yuffie, so that you
might get confused when underground stuff pops up again. Probably, maybe a little bit.
You're gonna be confused regardless. But yeah. So I'm just gonna say I don't think it's necessarily like required, but you should play. I mean, it's really damn good. Anyway,
yeah.
All right.
So yeah, as far as the aerial combat, yeah, that like you said, that was a pretty common complaint, and they addressed that. Yuffie's crazy up in there. You throw your shuriken. Oh, you're going up against. You're running. You follow it, and you're slashing and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, what I'm very curious about is even with the team up attacks, I do think is definitely testing the waters for future games. But I'm curious how they do it because, like, let's say for the characters that we have played as so far, Cloud and Tifa makes sense for aerial combat. I think Aerith and Barrett less so.
Yeah.
But I think that could also be very cool if they do make, at least especially Cloud, does more of the aerial stuff, but maybe not do it for Aerith and Barrett, just to kind of further make it like, okay, these characters are different.
Yeah.
Like, the way they feel will be different and be useful for different situations.
But you could also even have, like, a different type of team up attack. Like, maybe Aerith adds an element to Barrett's shots or something. You know, you could have something like that. It's not necessarily like slinging them around or something. It's like some other vibe, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, I was talking about the aerial combat, but yeah, the team attack is also. Yeah, I'm very curious. Like, gotcha. Will they do it for every character?
Yeah.
Like between every character,
I wouldn't be the most
unruly.
Yeah, I wouldn't be the most surprised if like we'll get into theories later, but I think that like obviously you're gonna be playing as Zack. I wouldn't be surprised if like the Yuffie Sonnen thing is gonna be more used than the Zack combat things or whatever. But I do hope that they can find some way to do it in the other ones because I do think that is something that everyone's like the 7 combat's amazing. It's amazing being able to play all these characters and like control them and do all that. But that was like one really hype thing that it was like, oh, but I want, and like, especially now we saw like Yuffie jumping off of Sonnen's like thing or whatever. I want to see like Tifa doing something crazy like that. Like,
I mean, you jump on the side of a Buster Sword and just throw it.
It'd be like really cool. And just like the other creative things you could get with that could be really awesome. But talking about Yuffie just in general and how she plays, I mean, like, I think it was really, really cool how they were able to make her like individually function on her own and be like, 'cause this was a team game for the most part, like a party based game or whatever, but like for the most part you're only controlling her, but like you don't feel like you miss it that much because they just like, she has a cool answer for whatever you need. And this is like the most actiony I think remake has ever felt in a good way, where like you're like going up and like hitting, the difference between hitting square and then holding square, like going bam 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 and then you like disengage by holding it, was just brilliant. And it like really, I think this was the remake gameplay style at its peak that we've seen it so far. As far as like that image of its part action game, part turn based game, I think like this is the best. It's like this is what they were envisioning, I think, in a really cool way.
I agree. Yeah, what you mentioned in the tools they gave Yuffie with being able to give elements to your shuriken to kind of go up and give that weaknesses, since you're pretty much mainly controlling her. You can give Sonnen some tell him what to do and stuff. You can add materia and stuff, but I think that makes the combat more dynamic. I'm curious if they let her keep that in future things, because in part 2 and beyond, just because that might make her more of a she has to be in the party kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm hoping it just means that everyone else is going to be revamped in cool ways too, and have more going on with them.
Because I'm very curious, because again, I think they're testing the water with some of this stuff. Like, they got to change some stuff in there to make the combat fresh. Yeah, especially since they gave you a lot of the big materia and level ups and stuff,
right?
And already leveled you up to level 45 and shit.
Right. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if part 2 has more drastic gameplay changes than we think for that reason, because 1 already felt like such a complete game with that. Yeah, it's hard to not start talking about part 2. But like, it was just like in part 1, it was like definitely you go up and swing and you dodge and stuff. Yuffie feels like she's straight up, there's like combos. There's like, you throw the triangle, you zip up to it, you punch, and then you hold square to disengage.
Yeah, you might get thrown involved sometimes.
Yeah, but like that string was so damn satisfying when you like you throw the shuriken in them, you run away, you dodge an attack, and then it's like right when they're open, you go bam, 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 you zip to them, bam, bam, and then disengage. It was like you always felt like a fucking badass because the amount of space that you moved doing that was just crazy, the mobility and everything. And that's not even using materia and all that things, like in the way that they like went.
I don't think I use materia much for Yuffie besides heal.
Yeah, no, heal and the elemental ninjutsu was like the only thing I did outside of like everything else was like the abilities. Yeah.
Save that MP for healing.
But then it's still definitely like I used the assess way more than I ever did. Like there was a lot of like there was some there was some boss battles that I didn't even worry about elemental weaknesses in the base game, in this game, especially because you were the only character. It definitely was harder, I think, than some of the times in the other game, and that became very important. So the strategy was definitely still there, Yeah.
Well, all right, let's talk about Yuffie herself.
Yes, because only talking about gameplay. This was again right when this happened. We were saying like this is the perfect character to have this for, because she was an optional character in the base game.
Story wise, I mean, Vince is another optional character, but he kind of needs to be where he is right now.
Right? No, yeah, it wouldn't make as much sense. But like Yuffie is definitely someone you could move around. I mean, case in point, you can find her anywhere in the world where there's woods. I mean, it's like there's really nowhere that she's locked down story wise. Like you can find, and a lot of her, like I think Yuffie is a cool character even in the original, but like I think what they were going for with Yuffie, a lot of people were annoyed with Yuffie in the base game, and I was too. Especially I was a kid too, so I had less patience, I think. But like, I think what they were going for with Yuffie didn't necessarily come across the way they wanted to in the base game, because she just didn't get enough screen time because she was optional. And almost all of her character development was like started and ended in the Wutai section. And anytime before and after that, you really didn't get a lot with her. And like, that's something in general. I think Remake is just going to be better in general, is that Yuffie and Vincent don't have to feel like, oh yeah, they're still part of this, I guess, because like
they will be interjected in, like put in the story naturally.
And so Yuffie is just the perfect one to drastically change how she starts this thing. And I think she's a perfect character to have. Like, I think out of all the characters we've met, she's the most different from the original. Like,
yes,
with her mannerisms and just her as a character. But I think that's great. I think she is like way stronger of a character now than she was in any of the other like Final Fantasy VII things.
No, you don't have to compare it to Dirge. I'm sure we know. We know.
And I thought she was just goddamn delightful. She was great. I loved her. Like, I love, like, she's such a different character than the rest of them. I mean, they've done like Aerith that's kind of playful, but like this is like a kid. This is like a like cocky, naive little girl that like was
it makes you
such a cool.
It's really excited. Like, okay, how's she gonna play off with the rest of the party once we get there? Yes. Probably kind of make probably Red 13 more of a straight man.
Yeah, the Yuffie Red 13 dynamic is going to be hilarious.
Yes.
I'm all here for it.
No, I agree with everything you said.
Dominating.
She's the perfect character to do this for. And what I love about what they did with her in here and with her story in this is in the way they build our Wu-Tai in the first game and through this DLC, it's like even just. She makes a lot more sense to actually join the party in general. Now she has a purpose for joining your party. Like you're, besides wanting to steal your materia,
right?
She at the end is like, I'm gonna find a team, and it's like, well, we got the perfect group of misfits right there, and your goals pretty much align.
Absolutely.
And I think that is great, and the way they presented the story, it makes a lot of sense. Why she would do that, like where she did where it is, but without taking away what the way Yuffie kind of was in the original. Like, did it change it? They just added more instead of like completely making her a completely different character.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's the kind of it's definitely from the same vibe of VII Remake, where it's like we're still the core of who these characters are is still there to the point where you're going to get nostalgia and you still love these characters in the same way, but we're going to like really think long and hard about why they are the way they are and what that will mean for like in the like flesh that out like so much more. And I think they did a perfect like arguably like one of the best jobs of like really transforming a character that way, where it's like, yeah, she is still that punk kid, she's still a lot of these things that she always was, but her mannerisms, like you see the heart in it a lot more. You see like who she really is, or like her trying to be someone she's not, trying to figure out who she is, all of that stuff, so much more than you would have before. And just kind of the character growth. And I think a big part of it is they set this up so well because they are nailing the Wu-Tai mystery in the original game. Like them coming from Wu-Tai like makes perfect sense after all the like hints and everything in 7, and it just makes it like that much more interesting, you know.
It's a lot better world building with that. So how do you feel about Sonon and his relationship with Yuffie?
I really like him. I mean, like sometimes I think the straight man character can be kind of forgettable sometimes, and I mean, maybe I've seen some people not really like him very much. Like I thought him and Yuffie's dynamic was like really strong.
I love how he was immediately like, hey, you have more experience, you're the boss, and just called her boss throughout this whole thing. I love it.
That's the type of little like things in writing that the like subtlety is just so much better than most like Japanese Square games that I've ever seen.
I mean, like legitimately, it is. I mean, it does have some of that Square-isms in this,
for sure,
and throughout this. But yeah, something we've been saying, and I play Kingdom Hearts and all that kind of shit. It is crazy how different and just better generally the writing is in this game.
Yeah,
and between the world building, just the dialogue and all that kind of stuff. And I was just thinking about when you were talking about Yuffie and all that stuff, and the way they kind of made the characters like. Final Fantasy VII characters were already Square's most beloved characters, pretty much. And they're making them better and more memorable.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, I really like Sonon for the time we spent for him, especially And I did have the fear. I was like, okay, is he going to feel like nothing? Because we kind of have an idea of he's probably going to die or something. And he kind of did, but probably coming back in some way.
He's in Nero's shadow torment realm, probably.
Yes. Yeah, I think he did a good job. And I think it was a good way to kind of help Yuffie kind of develop, get some character development through all this, and to play off of Yuffie and her craziness.
Right, that was definitely, I mean, I think Sonnen is not like a flashy crazy character on his own. I think you love, like, the strength of his character was him playing off of Yuffie, and like you really did feel like there was they relied on each other. Like if one of them would not be able to do this without the other, you could like really tell with that, because like Yuffie is like very good at what she does or whatever, but obviously she would be dead halfway through this thing if Sonnen wasn't there to like keep her in check. But then the reverse also happens, because Sonnen has a lot of emotional baggage that like I think it was very strong when they got off the elevator and Sonnen's getting really angry and Yuffie was like, yeah, I'm there with you, let's go. It's like they're back and forth, and just like how much of an arc it feels like they both had in a pretty short amount of time was actually pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It was only like really 3 or 4 hours of like hard story, you know, like you can do a bunch of side things or whatever, but it's like not really that, you know, just basically 2 chapters, you know. And how much they were able to feel like they went on a journey, I was very impressed with.
Okay, so I guess how do you feel about, well, you know, the beginning of it was pretty simple. It was just them kind of getting to know each other and doing some shenanigans, chasing after some avalanche people, some Shinra soldiers.
Yeah, and this is where I'll definitely, I think we have to, obviously I am head over heels for everything following this VII Remake, and I am like completely biased and everything. But
what?
I will point out, just like I think we can point out in 7, a lot of like I think the characters are like, the main characters are super, super great, and a lot of the side characters are super, super great. But I definitely think Remake had it, and this definitely has it. Some of these side characters definitely feel like pretty low effort. Billy Bob and the Avalanche crew.
What?
Some of these people, I mean, even the name, it's like, oh yeah, we have to, fuck, his name's Billy Bob. Just make him look like Axel from Guilty Gear, sure. Like, you know what I mean? Like, some of those definitely feel kind of throwaway, you know?
Probably never see him again.
Probably won't. Yeah.
They're there to introduce Fort Condor, and that's it.
That's about it. And the 7 Remake definitely had that, like the side quests in Sector 7 slums. I ate it all up, but it's not the best content in the world. And I think that's kind of true here too. I think Fort Condor is interesting. I think I like it less than it sounds like a lot of other people do. I mean,
I played the tutorial, I was done with it.
I mean, I played like three games. I mean, it's fun. It's fine. It's a fine little, like, very simple tower defense thing or whatever. But I didn't think it was like this crazy. It's no Gwent.
No, yeah.
There's no Gwent.
No Blitzball, you know?
So you're real here. I think it was fun. I mean, I hope they do take it into the next game. I mean, because it was kind of, I mean, it has the Gwent vibe of like whenever you go to a shop, it's like, oh, you're selling this unit, whatever, you know. It's like, I think in-game games are always cool. I think it's always a cool thing. Even if you never touch it, it's just a cool thing to have in the world. But it didn't necessarily wasn't necessarily the highlight of the DLC like it was for some other people, it sounds like.
Yep.
But just jumping around, I don't think we necessarily have to go beat by beat or whatever. But fucking Cowboy Bebop music, just straight up Cowboy Bebop music for a whole chapter.
Yeah, like goes around like, oh yeah, dude.
Oh, so, yeah.
Different.
Was not expecting to just like hard jazz battle music, but something about jazz. Like just straight jazz but it's like a battle theme. It's like really cool to me.
Yeah,
it was dope. And like it's just like let's fucking strap in, because we are only at game 1 of like probably 3, and they've already done this much musically, and it's like that's like with the jukebox thing, but this like they will go in like so many different styles and vibes and everything.
There's a heavy metal Happy Turtle song.
Yes. And there's a heavy metal. There's like the fight on like the battle theme or whatever has like 15 versions in remake.
Hey Darby,
we're gonna fucking get the golden salsa. We're gonna fucking get the Costa del Sol. We're gonna get to the ice.
Hey Darby, you know something I just remembered? We got tickets to a Final Fantasy VII Remake concert later this year.
Fuck yeah, dude. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna like actually cry.
It's gonna be great.
There's no way I don't.
But yeah, they go in to Shinra headquarters to steal the ultimate materia.
Yeah, it was a very aimless mission they had going on here.
Yeah, but materia.
But all this was cool, and it was kind of cool to see Scarlet kind of get a section when she didn't really get, like she didn't really get a focused section in Remake. It felt like as much. Yeah. It was like kind of cool to have because we know we're gonna get Palmer later, and we're very excited.
Yeah, I'll say it
later. But Scarlet, like even in the base game, up until a part way further than that you haven't gotten to, she's kind of a big deal then. But like other than that, she has like 1 or 2 moments in the base game, and that's about it. So it was kind of cool to see her get her antagonist like arc thing or whatever,
Get her more involved some, and more connection to Shinra sucks and all that kind of stuff. Get it when the big wigs in there.
Yeah.
Feel like this kind of matters in a way.
Yeah. I mean, all these characters are just like cartoonishly evil, but like they're like you kind of love them for that. So
Scarlet is very cartoonish, even if it's because she has a soldier. She uses a footstool, and when she leaves, falls on it.
I kind of love Scarlet though. Like it's ridiculous. It's like she is absurd, but I kind of love it.
I dig it.
Yeah,
I love that shit.
Oh yeah, it's great.
But Dory, how do you feel about Deep Ground? We got to get to it.
Yeah, we need to probably wrap this up.
Dory, we haven't gotten to the post credit scenes yet. Strap in.
Jesus Christ, guys, it's almost 11. Yeah, I wish it wasn't there. I mean, for being real, I do. I think I trust the remake team and everything to. I mean, we're going all in on like folding in the compilation. That's very abundantly clear at this point. I have faith that they're going to do it in a more interesting way. I think introducing some of these elements earlier will probably make some of the stuff cooler, like easier to understand. It'll be like, like this weird shadowy organization underneath everything. I mean, I guess if you see them earlier, I think it'll be better. But I do think it is a little discouraging that it's like, this is definitely the first time I can say like not everything that the remake team touches is gold. Because like I still think Nero kind of sucks as a character. I mean, do you agree? I haven't really heard you talk about it that much.
You could have made his design a little more less cringe.
It's just like, the design is definitely what
even I think like because Final Fantasy VII is really retired, I think generally speaking, like Vice's design is fine. I mean, for what it, if we're gonna have a crazy over the top villain, Nero's a little much.
Nero's much. I mean, he is fucking using dark magic.
Yeah,
shit. It's like,
I mean, that's fine. Just the whole like having like bondage stuff. Not kink shaming, but
I mean, it's honestly more like his design is like ridiculous and everything, but it's also like his character is just like the least interesting shonen anime shit or whatever, where he's just, what is this pain? I want to feel more of this, like this death. And I'm like, oh, okay, please leave, please. Like he's just very uninteresting. And even in remake, he felt similar levels of uninteresting that he did in Dirge of Cerberus, which is like, it like maybe played it a little too close to old Dirge or whatever. So it's like, this is the first time I've seen like a character come back. I'm like, this is like, you didn't make this better. I mean, maybe you made it better, but like not substantially. So
that's a very low bar.
Yeah, it's a low bar. I mean, did you find? I mean, I just found him to be a very kind of cringy, uninteresting antagonist for this whole thing.
Boss fight's fun.
The boss fight's a blast. Yeah, it's awesome. But him as a character, it's like,
well, he's coming back. You assume?
Definitely coming back. I'm really hoping in like minor ways. I mean, especially since this was a DLC. Like, I mean, this was obviously they're throwing a bone to their Cerberus. They've already thrown multiple bones to Advent children. Like, this is happening.
Yeah.
I just like I still maybe I'm naive. I still have a feeling it's not gonna be like the end of the game, Nero sitting there next to Sephiroth. Like, I think it's still gonna be like kind of on the fringes. Like, he's gonna come back, but I don't think Nero's going to be a huge plot point at Golden Saucer or something where he wasn't supposed to.
I imagine what it's gonna be is at some point they're inserting him into, like, I don't know when, into the game where it makes sense or anything, but they're just gonna insert it to where you deal with him and might kind of intersected with Sephiroth or that kind of general story a little bit, or Shinra, but nothing like too crazy. Yeah, I don't expect him to be like at the necessarily the very end of the game standing next to Sephiroth or some shit. But
like I expect by the time we get to the crater, Nero is like long gone. Like we've already dealt with Nero.
Again, he kind of just snatches Sonon up, so that's going to come back. That's going to be part of
maybe during the Wu-Tai arc.
Yeah, it's going to come out in the Yuffie's arc at some point.
Yeah,
which, you know, I feel like that by itself can be fine is depending how I guess Nero himself acts.
Yeah. I mean, he's obviously this isn't going to be the end of him, but I'm not too worried that it's going to be like super in the way, if that makes sense.
No,
At least,
I agree.
Yeah,
we'll see if Vice ever gets, you know, not bored and just gets up and does something. Like, yeah, they just kind of transfer me to a computer program. I'm just humoring them.
Yeah. Let's just hope he stays there.
He won't.
I should have known when everyone's like, oh, Vice is just a computer program. Don't worry. They're not bringing. They're just not going to be a huge plot point in this DLC. Don't worry. So, yeah, well.
Everyone's like, well, fuck.
Well, shit. As soon as I saw his fucking.
All right, Dari, let's get to the. Let's get to the endings. Well, we'll talk about Yuffie's final scene, or I guess before the final scene thing.
Yeah.
Where so after Sona dies, she runs out and she watches the plate fall. We see that from above.
Crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
like, fuck.
Yeah, definitely. Like Yuffie, automatically, right there, just that one moment alone, is a completely different character when you're meeting her for the first time than it was in base game. You know, it's like you have so much more emotional attachment to her and like, you know, what she's doing. Like,
earlier, then it goes into her running a chocobo outside Midgar, and she's like, I'm gonna form a team. Which great. Just means like, okay, we're gonna get her next game. That's gonna be great.
All right, but in the real shit,
we get the post credit scene where we see the main party walking around going to Calm.
Yeah,
and she was trying to teach Aerith how to hitchhike.
all of it, just in my veins. I want to see this crew on a road trip around this fucking. Oh my god.
Yep. But them hitchhiking work. Barrett's like, yo, stop. Chocobo Bill's like, whoa,
whoa.
Get in the back of my chocobos.
Oh, the way they call him, I was like, are these motherfuckers gonna show calm? I was like, almost this way.
See in the distance.
Because that thing kept going on. I was like, I was like, okay, that was great. It was like, oh, it's still going on.
Yeah,
like, great. Oh my god, it's still going on.
Yeah, I mean that's a very interesting thing of like, okay, I guess when I do think like Maximilian dude and other people are right where I think we're gonna do the flashback.
Yeah,
that's how the game's going to start. But then after that.
Calm,
not going to be outside Midgar. It's going to be we're there.
Yeah, they're going to be in the inn or whatever. But yeah, I do.
So it does make me very curious how the open world quote unquote is going to be for the next game.
Yeah, I mean, do you think we should be taking anything from this cutscene and them showing so much and like the bird flying over the thing and showing these like wide landscaping thing? It's like it gets me horny for that open world. Like
if anything, for me, it makes me think less like we're getting an open world like people are thinking.
It makes you less,
because the fact we see them traveling in a cutscene.
I mean, but it's all cutscene. It's not like they've shown any gameplay, you know.
I know, but the fact, we didn't actually do the journey to Calm. I mean, it could still do the open world, but I mean, if any, if it makes me move the needle either way with that, it makes me lean towards.
But like when you get out of Calm, you'll be right there, like in the same. I mean, Calm is like right there outside of Midgar. I just think that like starting at the flashback is a way more interesting place to start than let's walk down the road a little bit to this town. I don't really, at least for me, I don't think that like sways it one way or the other, or at least not outside of open world. Like I just think that like that's a way stronger place to start narratively. Is like start right.
Well, I'm gonna say I think people need to get their expectations in check as far as the open world.
Yeah, I'm not expecting like fucking Horizon Zero Dawn, like but I'm expecting like more hubs. But I'm expecting it to be considerably more open than part 1.
Oh yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that, but people are thinking closer to her Horizon or talking about that, fantasizing about that. I'm like, let's get expectation a little bit in check.
And I still don't think, because just the design of 7 is not open at all. I mean, a lot of the 7 environments are very rigid, and also, I kind of expect that this state.
If you want the game to come out within the next 5 years,
Now, I'm expecting, like semi-open environments that it'll be like the outside of Midgar to Calm area is going to be a like kind of explorable area that you can go, and then like over by Chocobo Farms will be a thing, and then Junon will be another like area, and then Golden Saucer will be another area. And that might be all of the areas we have for this game. There'll be some other things, but I expect like all these areas to be like semi explorable areas, but then you probably reach an end of that area and then it's like a cutscene of like, and they travel to the next area. It's like I don't expect it to be a seamless open world, because I do think that would be kind of crazy.
I agree.
And like their game design doesn't necessarily correlate to that. They'd have to change a lot about their game design to because honestly the level
that's mainly what I'm getting at.
The level design in Remake is not the best. I love the game to death, but the level design is not the best. I mean, it's very rigid and very like funnel you into an area. So I don't even know if they'd be great at a seamless open world. Like I don't even know if that would play great. So all that's great, and I will definitely talk about it more just because I think that trailer, I'm gonna watch that over and over again. Like this part of it, the whole like crew going through the thing, just God, it got me so excited. And like again, the character writing and dialogue is just so much better, and it has any fucking right to be. Good lord, it's so great. But the juice is at the very
juice
end.
from Ratchet and Clank
is very end. Yes, it's also great. But the real juice is Zack at the end.
Yes,
we get Zack in front of the Aerith's church. Just 10 out of 10 dialogue with rehearsing meeting Aerith again for the first time in a long time. It's like
quite a while.
God, it's so good.
Multiple years have passed.
Busts in there. Everyone's crying. It's a bad scene going on in here. It's like all the children from the orphanage that like Aerith watched after, all crying. The flowers are wilted, like they haven't been taken care of and stuff. Everyone's crying. Cuts over to Zack. Zack looks like he's about to bust out crying or something, and it just cuts to black, and he says Aerith, like in a questioning Aerith. Oh boy. Lots to unpack.
Yep. Well, let's start with one thing people keep on talking about. I don't think this is the same timeline as our team. People are jumping to that. I do not see where they're getting that from.
I don't either. Yeah, and like people are very emphatically jumping. There's a lot of articles being like, "Oh, this is what this means." I agree. I think we are still. I think it's two different timelines. We saw Zack and Cloud pass each other in the same area,
and
like,
we talked about off camera timeline wise. Where the stuff with Zack happens is months before 7 proper starts.
I don't think they would have done this whole scene the way they did the scene if it was just Aerith is gone on a mission with Cloud and them or whatever, and everyone's sad about it or whatever.
Although Zack's not going to react to a plate has fallen since he
that too. And like if you think about timeline like time passing wise. The point that Zack got there or whatever, you think he was just gonna dick around for a few months before going into to Midgard and see Aerith's like, no, like this is like way before all of that. And it's just like that moment would not be that emotional if it was just like Aerith is gone with Cloud and them or whatever. Like she's still alive, but she's just gone or whatever. Because that's not what that moment. I think that moment is supposed to be communicating to us that we are in a different timeline, and because of the events that have happened, this is butterfly effect led to Aerith is dead.
Yes.
Which I think that does. I mean, none of us know what the fuck is going on with this whole Zack thing, where we expect to be playing as Zack, but narratively, I don't think anyone has a good guess of what this means for the remake project in general, and like story-wise, what this is going to go to. And so we're already interested. I think that makes it even more interesting. If it's like, what does Final Fantasy VII look like without Aerith? My guess is pretty fucking bad. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. I don't know where they go with it. Like, as far as that goes, I feel like potentially, you know, we talked about earlier, and I think you even mentioned like with Zack, the whole Yuffie team up mechanical in person. That could just be experimenting for Zack chapters. Yep. I mentioned this before us talking, I don't think actually on mic, that I can see easily, like, let's say they do about 16, 17 chapters again for part 2. Around chapter 7 or 8-ish, we just jump to Zack and do a couple chapters or something. And that's how they might handle that. And I think it makes sense, especially from a ATB gauge, whatever, with healing and stuff, that Zack just has a partner to at least help with healing. Roche, yes, definitely. To heal.
I'm calling it Zack and Roche.
You know what? let's do it.
It's gonna be a different Roche.
Yeah. Or I wonder if he does alternate version Tifa.
Good.
Or maybe mix in and out depending on the story. I could definitely see that. And that's the way they do it. But yeah, it definitely shows more like, okay, yeah, Zack's timeline is definitely going to be more of a focus than maybe some people initially thought.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely always thought, like, there's no way they do this. And it's like, oh, it's a side thing that doesn't matter. It's like, no.
It's just to show how time can change. Like, no.
No, God, no. There are way smaller ways to show that. Like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always, I mean, I expect to play like way less of Zack than Cloud.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But we did just see, like you said, we saw that they could do a whole chapter where you have one playable character, and I do think that that's probably more of a thing for this, because you're not going to want to have this crazy big like open thing for what I think is going to be like a smaller like filling in the gaps, like what's going on over there, you know. Like, so I expect to have way more linear missions as Zack, and maybe one other person.
Yeah. I can see Zack, and you know, it makes sense and everything to, you know, reuse assets, kind of like they did somewhat with Yuffie, with, you know, similar environments and stuff, same place. Like Zack's kind of retracing, you know, the Cloud's party steps,
right? And you probably will be behind. It'll probably be like areas that you just went. I expect, like you said, somewhere halfway through the game, maybe Sephiroth shows up somewhere he shouldn't, and maybe Sephiroth references Zack or something, and then it like cuts over to Zack and what's going on. Because also, I think, you know, Sephiroth's fingers are all over this. I think so. Like, our Sephiroth, I think, is going to be in Zack's timeline as well. I think Sephiroth is a dimension crosser at this point.
Yep. Yeah, I'm very curious what they're all gonna do with Zack, and I'm curious to see what caused Aerith's, you know, presumed death in that timeline. Yeah,
I'm very, very interested. I mean, I guess it could be so many different things, but something about it is going to make like Shinra was able to do that, or maybe just Sephiroth straight up went and killed her in that timeline. I mean, maybe Sephiroth is trying to build the perfect timeline to win or something, and like maybe, you know, not having Cloud become who he's supposed to become. And killing Aerith.
I feel like the whole them killing Aerith in Zack's timeline also makes sense from a narrative potential where they might go narratively. Whenever Zack does cross over into the main timeline, he'll have more of an emotional reaction to seeing Aerith.
Yeah. Oh god, that would be brutal.
Yeah, and so, you know, even Aerith will obviously have one, but even more so with Zack.
Yeah. Yeah. Brutal.
Yep. All this crazy shit.
And then if you've romanced Aerith, then that'll get really awkward, you know.
Yeah.
But good thing we are all romancing Barrett as we should.
Exactly.
So that's the true romance option in all of this. Not Yuffie, because she's fucking
I'm
like
calling the police.
she's fucking like 12, 15 or something like that.
Yeah.
Whoo boy. God, I'm so excited. Well, that was a lot of talking, Jeff.
It was.
It was very, very good though.
Indeed.
So thank you guys so much for joining us.
For this all gameplay talk episode of the Nerds
2 hours and 15 minutes without a lick of news.
Yeah.
Woo, boy.
Look forward to next week where I don't know what all will happen. But we will surely talk about Kazuya and Smash because he releases tomorrow as of this recording. So we'll play with him.
Yes.
Yes. Maybe even with Shantae.
Shantae!
Shantae's Mii costume.
Did Shantae get music, you said?
One song. Yeah.
Good. Cool. I'll have to go listen to that. Bye.
Bye.